I think that everyone definitely does have their own like road to breaking into this industry, breaking in. And in most cases, I think what people don't realize is they can kind of create that entry point for themselves instead of this idea of like, let me pass my career into your hands and hopefully you'll tell me whether or not I'm good enough or like I have what it takes or like just let me have you tell me whether or not I'm capable of actually doing this, which is so sad because it's like, and I think that was actually a switch for me because I also used to think that way when I first started doing all of this. And then
When did you start, and when did the switch, like how old were you when you started? How old were you when you did the switch? And like, do you think something triggered it, or you just like,
I started when I was probably around like 11 and I was doing
really?
some stuff for a few years and then I got my braces on and then there was a 4-year period where I was just like not doing anything because I was like, I'm just waiting for my braces to get off. I can't book anything like this. And then I started getting back into it, and that's actually when I like got with
Mm-hmm.
the agency that I'm with, and that was when I was about 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 19 is when I got with this big agency, and yeah, it's just wait. There was a second part to your question,
Oh
and I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah. And, and you were 11 years old, so like when you were a kid, you knew that you wanted to do acting?
I always knew I wanted to do acting. All I ever wanted to do for as long as I can remember. Actually, when I was like 4 years old, I wrote down in so many different notebooks, I want to be an actress that sings and dances in her movies. That's what I wrote.
Wow,
But I
perfect.
don't want to do the singing and dancing in my movies anymore. But yeah, I've always wanted to be an actress.
Nice.
But
And
yeah, oh, that point. That was
yeah,
the
the
second.
turning point. I'm curious now to like see what was your parents' reactions towards like you being so like crystal clear. Like, do either of
Honestly,
them do acting? I know your dad's a lawyer.
yeah, but they don't do acting. My parents are both very intrigued by the entertainment industry. Honestly, my dad has done like a ton of like a reality show was being filmed around my parents' law firm. Multiple producers created multiple sizzle reels. It was pitched to networks. It was almost picked up, and we actually put a halt on it ourselves. So my parents aren't strangers to the entertainment industry, but at the same time, we don't have any like connections or like my parents aren't like they're not in it like the way that we know about the like all the ins and outs of the industry. Like that was coming at it from a reality side of things, so very different. So this was all like something that I just kind of had to figure out, and my parents were nothing but just extremely supportive, and like growing up they would like pay for me to do acting classes, and so I'm one of those weird stories where I actually had really like
Yeah, no, it's
supportive parents that like really like backed me up because they knew that this is always what I wanted to do, and the fact that I like never wavered from it was, I guess, a signal to them that like I was just really serious about it and that like I could make this a career path for myself.
absolutely.
But I would say that switch point um probably came honestly a couple years in with the agency. Even I would say probably only like 3 years ago, when I actually had like a serious mentality switch, and I think it came as soon as I started creating my own content
Hmm.
and like writing my own stories. And 3 years ago, I incorporated my production company.
Yeah.
That actually gave me tremendous confidence, knowing how things worked behind the camera from pre-production through like actually getting it out there after post and everything. So I think having that knowledge of just like how to do each step of the process and being business oriented in that way and like looking at this business as a business instead of just a pipe dream um, was
Because we do
very,
need, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was very like empowering actually for me.
Absolutely. Yes, I could not agree with you more. Like, because I think you said that you use the word sad to describe when you like leave your career, which is something so precious. You know, your passion, your love for something, in the hands of like strangers, right? So it's like when you take that power back, yes, it's completely empowering.
Right.
Um, and you mentioned that there was like this mentality switch. Like, was it because you fell in love with your writing? Like, did you just like one day you're like, oh, this is something that I'm auditioning for, like I could write it better? Or like was it like
I think I actually know what it was, this moment in which I was like actually standing on set as a director, leading a 20-some person crew, and like everyone was just listening to like my vision, and there was something so um humbling, and also again it like woke me up to the fact that wow, I'm actually doing this, and I actually have a voice in it myself, and I have a creative eye, I
mm,
have a vision, and I can actually bring it into reality myself. You know what I mean? So something about just like having that control, I guess,
mm.
for
It's healthy. It's so healthy to
a
have to
creative
feel
idea that you can bring
mm,
to life yourself. I don't know. There was something in that moment that I was just like, because I did not feel like I was ready to do that when I was doing it. And it was literally me just being like, yeah, I could do this. Yeah, I could do this. Yes, and, or like, I'll figure it out on the job. And it was me just figuring it out while doing it. And I was like, oh, like, this kind of comes natural to me. Like, this is all, everything was figure outable. Um, and that was just like tremendously,
and
just, it,
sorry, tremendously what?
I was just going to say, it was just, um, it was a very proud moment for me, um, and a turning point for me, because I just felt like I moved out of this like super insecure, always doubting myself. And I
Mm.
still doubt myself, don't get me wrong, but like I just like I felt like I stepped into like a new version of myself. And that sounds kind of weird, but
No, I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that's what's missing a lot. Like, because I see a lot of like people that are kind of like, well, actors or actresses that, you know, that I've met, and it's kind of like, it's so hard to see like just brilliant people be consumed by like some sort of like sadness. And I was there too, you know, like you were there too. I guess like we
I'm still there at different points. I mean, I'm not just like, oh, I figured it out or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but the mindset has changed drastically from what it used to be, you know.
Hmm. And how did you get that opportunity to direct? Because it was a music video, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
How
music
did that
video, but
happen?
like um just I when I started my production company, because I'd done video work, I hadn't ever like I'd done a lot of videographer work where it's like, you know, one, two people with cameras, and like you've got someone on boom, but like not really a full-on production.
Hmm.
Um, and that was, you know, everyone's got to start somewhere, and that's where I knew how to, because I'd been working as a producer in an ad agency
Hmm.
for a little bit of time, so I understood now more what goes into all the pre-production of it, and I was like, I think I could do this. And um, so it was actually this guy, when he found out that I had my own production company, he was like, hey, do you direct? I'm looking for a director to direct my next music video. And he's like, I want it to be like a big pop music video, and I really want to make a statement with it. And I was just like, yeah, I could do it for you. I was just like, I remember the phone call because I like paused and I was like, yes, I direct. I'm like, how do I answer this? And then, like I said, it was literally just taking the leap, and everything followed with not knowing at first and just figuring it out while on the job.